We thank you for not just the culture you're sharing with us, Lord, but this country. Bless them and let their journey be one that they will remember and take back to their families. Amen.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Clear.
They took that one step that I could take even more steps to, and that the rest of the Choctaw people in the Choctaw Nation could take that step to be a sovereign nation that we are now.
I think it really puts you in a place to better understand what they went through and to see the history along the way.
I've never heard anything past Oklahoma. My desire and hunger to know more about my ancestors goes a lot further than that.
I didn't know when I first started what this was going to turn into.
It's a passion now. I want to do it for my family. I want to do it in honor of my ancestors, to learn more about our culture and our heritage from Mississippi on to here.
It was really beautiful scenery today. How to even think how long have those trees been here? If those trees could talk to us today, what would they tell us about our ancestors?
That was really the hook for me, was doing something that pushed me both physically and emotionally, and this for sure fit that bill.
It wasn't not just a challenge of a bike ride, but going back and retracing some of the steps that our ancestors took.
Come on, John. Come on, Bill. Get your feet wet. You feel so good. Oh, you are dead now.
Oh, no.
Camera.
It's not a race, but I will not be last.
Seeing my dad do it kind of made me want to do it, and I've been wanting to ride for a long time.
I didn't really have to convince him to come at all. I'd been doing it for quite a few years, so he's always heard my stories of every year of it. So as soon as I made it available that he could go, there was no decision making for him at all.
Made me kind of jealous seeing him do it. Made me want to do it even more. Fun experience for me and my dad, just a little bonding time. So
I love to ride. I'm the oldest bike member, so I feel like I have a lot of inspiration to the younger ones. I hope so, because if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I wonder how they carried water, just like in skins. The bottles with handbags. My grandmother spoke a lot of her grandfather who was on the trail. And those were neat stories, but that's all they were stories until you go back and you start at the beginning.
You always hear about the trials and tribulations of the trip, but to see this firsthand on a bicycle was really unique. Aside from walking it, cycling was probably the next best thing.
Wish you could just, for a moment, be back to see what it was really like. Hearing the stories from my grandmother and my mother, you could just sit and close your eyes and visualize it. But being on the actual Trail of Tears, you got to feel it and you got to see it.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Nothing brings it to life like being there. It's just overwhelming. You could not describe that unless you stood there and looked at it. And that's what I love sharing with my son.
The scenery here is beautiful. It's pretty amazing what they had to do and what they had to go through.
Seeing the terrain, the heat, imagining the cold, the swamps, the animals, the sickness, it just made our little sufferings, our sore muscles, our dehydration, our fatigue, our hunger, just so minuscule.
I had time to contemplate how they must have experienced their spiritual side of the endurance and called upon God and to get strength to make the journey. Because that's what I did.
I'm sure that they were torn to leave their homeland, but then again, I think they also had that look of promise that once they got here, they were going to be a people among themselves.
Because it is our story, we have to know where we've come from so we can continue to build. That's our foundation. You have to have a strong one before we can build upon that.
You know, I think when Choctaw people look back on where they've come from, they have something to be proud of. And they can incorporate that pride into the things they're doing today. Those people persevered. Those people took little and turned it into much.
We haven't lost hope or thought of them, of what they did for us. My grandparents and my mother and my father, I don't have any of those living today. So what I do is in honor of them as well.
I think they want us to look back and not forget, and to bring what they had and bring forward that strength, that endurance, that forgiveness, that love.